And there you go. We are now on camera. Everyone can see us. How are you doing? I feel a bit hyper, actually. I just had a coffee quite late at night. It's just gone 9 p.m. and I'm drinking coffee. Probably not ideal. Want to go to bed, get an early start in the morning, but just thought, you know what the hell, rock and roll. I only had to today. How's your day been? Has it been all right? Everything good? Let me know how I can help you. Let me know if there's anything exciting to report that we can put out there and tell the world. It's book club tonight, guys. We're going to be looking again for the third week at Gary Vaynerchuk's brand new book called Crushing It. It's just a Bible, basically, of how to set up a business around your passion using social media and this little thing called the internet. You might have heard of it. You're on it now. It's incredible. Like, seriously, when we did the broadcast last week, we read really how to get started in setting up a social media kind of, business in terms of promoting yourself, creating a brand, creating a reputation for yourself online. And I had loads of tweets and really interesting emails from people telling me what their side hustle would be. So your side hustle, ultimately, as Gary coins it, is your thing that you do on the side, whilst right now you might be working a job that you don't want to work, right? So for me, 11 years ago, that was working in retail in a computer game shop. I wanted to be an actor. I graduated from a great drama school, but I was putting 40 hours a week into a shit job I hated in order to try and fund the career that I actually wanted. It was completely bananas. And I don't know how I couldn't see that. Mel Radloff's here on Facebook. All right, Mel. So Steve as well. How are we doing? Yeah, it was weird. Like I just couldn't see past myself. I was the thing getting in the way of my own success. I was working this shit job full of limiting beliefs around about why I had to stay there. And somehow I was thinking miraculously I'd get discovered. I mean, seriously, this is how mental I was, right? I'm not even joking when I say this, right? I'm going to be vulnerable here. Put your hand up if you've ever done this. I was working in this shit job, and I swear to God, I was even like trying to get opportunities, thinking, oh, you know what? This famous actor's just walks in. He'll give me a job. He'll just see something in me. I'll serve him. I'll be... It's mental, isn't it? I'll serve him or her. I'll be so good. They'll just offer me a job. It's just bullshit. Of course, that was never going to happen. We had actors like John Thompson come in. We had singers like Russell Watson. Eminem came in once. Bieber came in once. Justin Timberlake came in once. That was never going to happen. I don't know what the hell I was doing, basically, staying in that job for so long. But ultimately, one day I was given an ultimatum when I decided I was going to leave. And I'd been setting up in the background my side hustle, which turned into what today is actonthis.tv, a website that I run for actors around the industry, interviewing lots of people. Guilty, says Caroline. I'm glad it's not just me who thought that, Caroline. I'm sure people who work in bars and restaurants as well cling on to that hope of one day they'll serve the famous director or something like that, and they'll just be picked out. Joy says, yep. Yeah. Oh, and Wendy says we've all been there. Phew. God, it's not just me who was completely delusional. I'm glad we all fall for that. Little bit crazy. But yeah, I ended up going, right, I've got to set up a business away from this shithole that's going to actually, create some passion and some enjoyment in my life, as well as giving me enough income, not loads initially, enough income to, to ultimately just replace minimum wage. That's all I was on there. I was on £5.75 an hour for 40 hours a week. And I thought, if I can create something that gives people enough value for me to earn more than that £5.75 an hour, which, isn't that hard because it's such a, small amount, I'm going to do it, and that's what I did. So I want to inspire people to do the same as well. I'm not saying leave your job and just walk out, but I just want people to at least think, if the answer to this question every morning when you get up is no, and the question is, if I could do anything today, would it be this? If the answer is no too many times on the trot, now it's going to be no a bit of the time, of course it is for everyone, including myself, but if it's like no for 3, 6, 9 months, something's got to change, man. Something's just got to change in your life. You can't carry on like that because life is short. Don't be wasting 6, 9, 12 months doing something you actually hate. I hated that job in the end. I was just treated like dirt by customers, and I'm going, I'm so much better than this. Why'd I have to put up with it? So that's what we're going to be looking at tonight. I want to read an example of someone who did just that. And you might even know this guy. You might have even heard of him. You might have seen some of the podcasts that he does now. He's been quite a big mentor in my life. Jason Broderick's here all the way from the Wicked Tour somewhere in the UK right now. Where are you, Jason? Let us know where you're touring tonight, mate. And yeah, I just want people to... Jason set up a business around acting. Jason's an actor. Actually, this is a good example, Jason. I'm glad you just joined. Actor... wanted to set up something around something he loved acting. I'm not saying every actor's going to set something up around acting. I mean, you can have other passions. I do have other passions. I've got a clothing line now. I've got, other stuff going on. But Jason set up something called Actors Business Breakthrough. because he's very business orientated and sales orientated and marketing orientated, and he wanted to help actors sell themselves. That's an area that I don't really cover. I cover all the mindset stuff, and I curate interviews with some of the the biggest people in the industry, but I don't really cover too much of the business, bar on book clubs and stuff like this. Jason goes real in depth on that. He set up a business around that, and that was the thing that broke him away, I'm guessing, from the shit you probably used to do, Jason. I don't know what it was you used to do, but now he's touring as a successful actor in big theatre shows. If you've seen Wicked, you might have seen Jason. Who do you play, Jason? Bach? Can't remember who it is. I think it is, isn't it? I'm not big on musicals, though, but I should definitely see it. If it's in Manchester, let us know. So tonight, we're looking at another example of someone who basically got out of their own way to create a business, and this guy is pretty phenomenal. Have you heard of a guy called Lewis Howes? Give me a shout if you've heard of Lewis Howes. He runs something called the School of Greatness podcast. It didn't start out like that, though. He was actually initially an American football player, wanted to go all in on his dream for American football, had an injury, took him out of the game, ended up on his sister's couch, literally feeling like an utter loser with, completely broke, completely jobless, and was like, wow, what the hell do I do? Wanted to set up a business around his passion, and we're going to read a little bit about his story now, and then going to read a little bit about work, in terms of the work that goes into creating a brand like this, and just creating a business around, the thing that you love, because yes, it's fun, so it shouldn't feel like work, but it still takes a shitload of work. Bobby's here, says, you and me are going to sing a duet one day, Ross. Oh, am I, Bobby? I'm not a singer, mate, unless I have a lot of vodka Red Bull, then I'm more than happy to do a Justin Timberlake classic on the karaoke. Who's heard of Lewis Howes? Let me know already. Let me know before I start this. Lewis Howes, School of Greatness. And if you don't, I'm really glad that I'm introducing you to him, because you should go and listen to his podcast and watch his stuff. It's super inspirational. He interviews just people from all walks of life, in and around success, saying, ultimately reverse engineering how they've had success. Hear from all kinds of people, from sports and music, acting, thought leaders, publishers, scientists, all kinds of people. Very, very good. Not getting any comments through saying that you know Lewis Howes, so if I've introduced you to him, then you can thank me later. Very, very cool guy. So this is how Lewis is crushing it. Lowry says never heard of him as well. Oh, well, you're going to love the guy. He's a great, great guy. I've spoken to him quite a few times now, and been part of a few mastermind things that he's done, and he's a really good guy. His handles on Instagram and Twitter is just at Lewis Howes, LEWIS HOWES. Include me in your tweet or your Instagram post. Let him know I sent you his way. So it says, Lewis Howes knows the sound of a broken dream. Anyone here know the sound of a broken dream? For him, it was the snap of his wrist as he slammed against a wall during his second game as a professional arena football player. An all-American football player and decathlete, Lewis at first refused to accept that the injury meant he'd never play professional sports again. And for 6 months, as he recuperated from extensive surgery and a full arm cast on his sister's couch in Ohio, he held out hope that he'd recover enough to resume his athletic career. But after another year of trying and failing to rebuild the strength he once had in his arm, he just had to accept that it was over. And for a lot of people, it would have felt like the end. He'd already survived childhood sexual abuse. He was abused as a kid. And he'd been bullied in school, where he had struggled to keep up due to dyslexia. Sports had been his refuge and his salvation, and he dropped out of college to try out for the NFL. Now, despite all his efforts, he was left with nothing. No degree, no skills, and no money. And it was 2008, when even people with ample amounts of all three couldn't find a job. Because when the shit hit the fan with the economy, wasn't it? 2008, everything just went to hell. What Lewis did have, thanks to his athletic training, was a belief in himself. And we all know how freaking important that is, okay? He started pondering the question, what could I create if I could create anything in the world? Ask yourself that question. I'd be interested to know the answer. What could you create, or what would you create, if you could create anything in the world? Is Michael Soccer playing him in a film? No, I don't think so. I don't think there's a film about Lewis. If there is, I've kept that quiet, but that'd be bloody good. I hope there's a film about all us lot one day. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? I don't know, Caroline, do a bit of research on that. Maybe not. So he needed to do something ultimately, because after so many months of living on his sister's couch rent-free, his sister was getting impatient. She's like, Lewis, what are you doing, man? A mentor of his suggested he gets on LinkedIn, right? Lewis realised that the platform, LinkedIn, gave him, and this does the same for all you lot, direct access to lots of successful people who might be able to lead him to opportunities, or at least explain to him how they had gotten to where they were. He's not British Caroline, he's from Ohio, as far as I know. He's American. All I ever wanted to do, he says, was be around inspiring people that I could learn from. He spent the next year, 8 hours or so a day, connecting with local business leaders, inviting them to lunch and conducting informational interviews to learn more about how they'd achieved their success. And he was just doing this like dead ad hoc, getting on LinkedIn, messaging people, and just going, look, want to interview you, just really informally at some like restaurant or something like that. Thinking he might be a natural fit for a job in the sports world, he'd at first reached out to a number of sports executives. As one person connected him to another person who then suggested he meet with another, his circle grew wider. That's what happens to me on Acts on This. I bring a guest on, I ask them, once they've done that, could you connect me with someone else who you think would be a good fit for the website? And that's how it works. They reach out, and because they give you a personal recommendation to that person, the next person goes, yeah, I'll do the interview. That's how it works. That's how you guys should be like hustling and working in your lives as well. Get people to make introductions for you. It's way easier than you like cold calling people. So as one person connected into another person who then suggested he meet with another, his circle grew wider. As he learned more about LinkedIn's possibilities, he optimized his profile, which then led to bigger and bigger influencers agreeing to meet with him. By the end of 2009, he had 35,000 connections on LinkedIn. That takes a lot of hustle. So he had all those connections by the end of 2009. At the time, tweet-ups, in-person gatherings of Twitter users around a common cause, were a popular networking venue. I went to a couple and I thought, I'm building this following on LinkedIn. Why don't I do a LinkedIn meetup? So he did one in St. Louis. Turn the page. My fingers aren't working. In St. Louis, where he'd gone to private boarding school. 350 people attended. Mel, can you imagine if we got 350 people to our meetups? I do a meetup in Manchester for the Acts on This crew. We get about 40. Mel's legend and has just started off the London one, but how many getting? Mel, like 10, 12? Imagine if we got 350. That'd be pretty incredible. And if you want to come to one of our meetups, go to facebook.com/ActsOnThisTV and check out the events section. They're all free and you get to meet and network with inspiring actors. So anyway, right, he basically, he did this thing, 350 people attended, and thanks to selling a few sponsorship tables to be at the event, he earned about $1,000. So I was like, why not see if I can do another event and charge $5 at the door? He did, and he made money off the entry fees as well as the sponsorships. And then I was like, I'm building a relationship with these venues. What if I asked for a 10% commission on the food and bar sales from these networking events? And they said, yeah. So he was getting money from sponsorships to sponsor the events. He was getting money from people paying to go to the events. And then he was getting money off the bar, the events themselves, the people hosting them, for the food and the drink the people at his events were buying. So in short, Lewis was bringing in a couple of $1,000s a month, enough to finally get off his sister's couch and move into his own apartment. The cheapest one he could find, a little one-bedroom for $495 a month in Columbus, Ohio. People were astounded. How was he pulling this off? He didn't have a real job. He didn't have a college degree, and yet he was bringing big influencers together all over the country and being asked to speak at conferences all through LinkedIn. They started asking if he could show them how to use the platform for their businesses too. And Lewis thought, Lewis started teaching other entrepreneurs and business people how to optimize their profile and reach out to their potential clients, investors, or whomever they needed. I think because I came with energy and passion, he said, I attracted opportunities. I attracted people to come to these events. I became passionate about teaching because no one else was talking about LinkedIn the way I was. I made it fun when LinkedIn's very boring for a lot of people. I think that's the case. A lot of people put off by LinkedIn because it looks boring, doesn't it? Not long afterward, he found out that an entrepreneur named Gary Vaynerchuk, the guy who wrote this book, would be having a sign-in for his new book, Crush It. That's the book that came out before this one, Crushing It. In St. Louis. Lewis reached out, and offered to help promote the event on LinkedIn. Given that he was helping promote the book, it made sense to read it. It was a long time ago, and he remembers very few of the details today, except for one chapter. And one chapter in Gary Vaynerchuk's first book, second book, I think, called Crush It. Might have been third one, actually. Said this. He said, I never felt like I was smart. This is Gary's words. I never felt like I had the intelligence or the skills or the experience or the credentials. I didn't have any of that. So when I read that word, I thought, yes, and this is care, okay? I need to continue to deepen my level of care. When I would meet with these influencers, I would never ask for advice. I would just say, I'm so curious to hear your story about how you became successful. And at the end of that, I would say, what's the biggest challenge you have in your business or your career or your life right now? And listen. And they'd tell me everything they needed. I said, you need a sales guy. I've got 3 of the top ones right here. You need a programmer. I've got this person. You need a designer. I met one last week. He was great. I just became this connector to all the most successful people. I never asked for a job. I never asked for business. That one-word chapter confirmed that when we show up and we add value and we care, then we can learn how to make money around it, but show up with value first. That's how I built the last decade of my life. So that's that chapter on care. It's always about leading with value, isn't it? And Gary always talks about kind of creating an economy around you where you give 51% and you only ever ask for 49% back. You're always in life giving more than you're taking. And if you can get that 51-49 right, people are going to love you because you're always leading with value. So Lewis was already teaching himself to be entrepreneurial and making a little money, but now inspired, turn the page, he put his foot on the gas. Crush It said you had to be niche. So he decided he wasn't going to be the social media guy like everyone else in 2008 and 2009. He was going to do the LinkedIn thing, be the LinkedIn guy. Crush It said work 15 to 16 hour days, so that's what he did. I was working my ass off, he said. He built up his expertise until every social media conference was booking him as a LinkedIn speaker. He also got creative. I started approaching venues, he said, which were mostly restaurants and bars, and I built a relationship with either the manager or the owner. I tried thinking about how I could make my event valuable for them. How could I care for their biggest need, their biggest challenges? So I started asking, what's the night of the week you make the least money? And they'd say like Tuesday night or Wednesday night or whatever it was. And I'd say, okay, I'm going to bring you 500 people on that night because I want to make every night a profitable night for you, not just the weekends. And I'm going to bring new business leaders and a new audience of quality people to your business. I mean, what a value proposition that is. And Lewis did it. And what was once these venues' worst nights became their biggest nights. From then on, they were willing to let Lewis host events anytime he asked. He did. But he also started taking bigger risks too. I just started to go for it and ask for what I wanted. Remember I say that? You've got to just ask for what you want. He started doing that. Even if I thought I wasn't going to get it or it wasn't going to work, I just started asking. So I'd ask for 20% commission off food in the bar as opposed to 10%. I charged $20 at the door instead of $5, and I started charging for more sponsorships. Because Lewis was bringing so much value to the venues, the sponsors, and the event attendees, all were more than happy to pay a higher price for Lewis's services. In 1 year, he hosted 20 events around the country. He branched out into other service products, and in 2 years, the company was bringing in over $2.5 million in sales. But despite the success, after a few years, Lewis was ready to do something new. I became less passionate. There's only so much I can talk about how to add the right photograph and optimize your LinkedIn profile. So he sold his business and got started on his next project, School of Greatness. And this is what I want you to go and check out after this, School of Greatness. Get it on iTunes or Stitcher. Listen to one of his podcasts. You can even watch them on lewishowes.com as well. You can watch the video interviews. And School of Greatness, a podcast that shares inspiring stories, messages, and practical advice from some of the biggest athletes, celebrities, and business minds in the world. And since its inception in 2013, it's only like 5 years ago, guys, School of Greatness has been downloaded tens of millions of times and makes a regular appearance in the iTunes podcast Top 50. In 2015, Lewis published his New York Times bestseller, The School of Greatness book, and he continues to coach, attend speaking events, and contribute articles to major media outlets. And while Lewis still loves and uses LinkedIn, he's also focused his efforts on other platforms that drive the most traffic, downloads, and sales and help him to continue to build his audience. At this point, the only thing holding him back is that he's just one man. So he's hired a stellar team to help him run all aspects of the business, from podcast editing to Facebook ads to customer support. I feel like the luckiest guy in the world. I had to learn the skills I needed, but the thing that surprises me the most is learning that it's not about how much you know, it's about how much you care. We can create anything we want to if we have the passion, the energy, the hustle, and the commitment to our vision. If I'd been a jerk all along the way and I didn't care about people, then there's no chance, page turn again, then there's no chance I would have been able to do this. If you show up with that energy and intensity every single day, good things are gonna happen. And like, I just think it's an incredible story, and it just shows you how you can literally go from nothing to millionaire status through actually doing something where you care. I just think like, you know, that's why businesses, you think of the biggest businesses out there, the biggest businesses really were the ones who give a shit about their people. And they, you know, they give way more than they take. So for those on here who are like, right, I've got, you know, I want to set up my own side hustle, I want to set up my own thing. Always lead with that. Lead with the fact that you care, and you're going to give 51% as opposed to, you know, taking 51% and only giving 49. Look at that economy of 51% minimum, 49% ask. So you're always giving more than you're taking. And initially as well, you know, the first few months, don't ask for anything. It's my experience of business. Just don't ask for anything. Just constantly give, and give value. Thus, you're going to attract people who just want to be around you. And you will just get way more opportunity if you're leading from a place where you're looking for what you can give, not for what you can take. Everyone I meet in this industry, I always ask, like, and they're surprised, but I always say, you know, anything I can do for you, you know, let me know. What is it? Anything I can help you with right now? And that applies to everybody I meet, you know, directors, casting directors, agents, anybody, even people who reject me. I'm like, you know, and they'll send a rejection email, or I find out I didn't get a role or I didn't get something like that. I will always hit back. Even when someone sent me an email last week going, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I'm sure this isn't the answer that you wanted." And I was like, "No, you know, you got to do the right thing." And I was like, "No, honestly, like, you know, completely understand. Please let me know, you know, if I can do anything for you, if I can do anything with web design, or, you know, I can just come and help out at some point." Always lead with that. Just makes you feel like you're owning your own shit. You're owning your situation, like you're responsible for everything you create in your life. So that's the first bit I wanted to read you, just Lewis's story. I just wanted to make you all aware of Lewis. Go and check out Lewis Howe's School of Greatness podcast on iTunes, but don't go there now and leave me all alone. Bobby says, sometimes I worry I'm too lazy to ever get anywhere. That's all about how much you want it, Bobby. If you really want it, my man, you're going to find a way. And if you don't, you're going to find an excuse. And the thing is, in this world, because we're born in the UK, or you're in Ireland, Bobby, but, you know, like, we're born in developed countries, we're soft, man. This is just the brutal reality of it. We're all freaking soft because we've never really had to fight and want for something. And I know there's going to be people in here like, "Oh no, I've been dealt adversity." You haven't, in the scheme of things. You haven't been dealt that adversity, like literally where you come to a country as a refugee or an immigrant with nothing but the clothes you stand up in. That's, you know, and you know, when you look at the people in business and in life who have really made it, so many of them have been people who have literally come to a country with nothing as an immigrant, or they've been born with nothing, or they've lost everything, because they're the people who really understand what it's like to not have things, and they just like, there's no alternative for me. You know, they've experienced nothing. All us lot, you know, yeah, I've been through adversity, definitely. My parents had a business that they would like literally, like, we were days away from being homeless. I've got this thing with my eyes, I'm losing my eyesight. You know, I've lost parents and stuff, but it's not, you know, if I sat down with someone, like, you know, a Holocaust survivor, I don't know if there's any left now, but, you know, or I don't know, a Syrian refugee, my excuses are just going to be bullshit to them. They're going to be like, what? The fact that, you know, your eyes are a bit dodgy, you're letting that stop you from going out and doing what you want, or, you know, I don't know, I can't think of any good excuse for myself. Wendy's joined us on Facebook now, right, Wendy? I just can't think of any decent excuse for myself for, like, why I would ever have an excuse of why I'm not doing something, Bobby. And that's what you got to do, man. You got to suffocate those excuses. So if you're like, you know what, sometimes I'm a bit lazy, give yourself a shake, man. You're gonna die. You're gonna die at some point. Let's not just, you know, stay lazy. If you can acknowledge you are lazy, that's a good first step, man, because you can see it. Most people will go through their lives not even appreciating the fact that they're lazy, and what they end up doing is just pointing their finger at everything else. They want to blame him and her and the system and the man and their job and their situation and some bullshit excuses they've got. Life's all about alternatives, and the alternative is, you know, even if you've got the best excuse in the world, it's like, well, what's the actual alternative? What are you going to do about that? You know, because Matt Hall's here. All right, Matt. Because the alternative is do nothing, achieve nothing, die with regrets. I have a roof over my head and hot water, clothed. I have food on the table. Exactly, Caroline. So you can be grateful for that, and you've got to be grateful for that. But also, if you know, don't get complacent and comfortable with that and go, right, this is, if you want something else, there's nothing wrong with desire to become more than you already are in a positive way. Yes, you've got to be so grateful for the little things, because that's the stuff that's going to keep you happy when you're on the journey to wherever you want to get to. And also remember, like, people are always like, I'll be happy when I get there and there, and there. You're already there. There is no there. Ultimately, you're never going to get there. I think when you come to terms with the fact that even when you're building any kind of business, yeah, you're going to have next levels to hit, but the minute you get there, you have another one to go to. So you've got to realise you're never going to get there wherever there is. Thus, you're already there. All right, Annabelle. Love your energy, Ross. It rubs off, which is brilliant and effective. Well, cheers, Annabelle. Appreciate that. I just want, I don't know. I just want to, like I always just operate from that 5149 place. Genuinely care. That's the thing. And I know people are cynical as shit, man. And they're like, they always think people have got an agenda. And I hope I've proved I haven't got an agenda by now. This is Periscope or Facebook Live and Twitter Live number. It's getting on for 300 every Monday and every Wednesday night, free of charge. 90% of the stuff I put out online, completely free of charge. I want to read you one last little bit of this book for this week, and then we'll do a little bit of Q&A if you want, or you can ask me questions about if you are thinking of setting up a business online. I know a lot about it. Would love to give you some advice and help you avoid the pitfalls that I fell into so much when I was setting up online businesses. It's just a few pages here. It's literally, what is this? 1, 2... It's just 3.5 pages I'm going to read you, again, of Gary V's crushing it if you're just joining us now. Gary V, where's he? Get him on there, at Gary V. Get him to join this freaking book club. He's got 2 million followers or something. He can get us plenty of followers where Wendy and Melanie were saying we need more people in London. So this is about the work, right? The work that goes into this stuff, right? Wonder how many of you've taken part in, Caroline? Quite a lot. I've done about 300. You must have taken part in good 150 or so. I think you probably joined us halfway through. So Gary says, look, I've audited a lot of people over the years who on the surface seem to be doing everything right. So they'd established a good niche for their business. They were personable and interesting. Their content was on target and valuable. Yet they expressed frustration that they weren't meeting their business goals. When I look closer, I see that they were still playing golf or tweeting about the previous night's Walking Dead episode. And let me make this as clear as I can, he says. When you first start out, there is no time for leisure. If you want to crush it, that is. There's no time for YouTube videos or shooting the shit in the break room or an hour and a half lunch. That is, of course, why entrepreneurship is often seen as a young person's game. It takes a lot of stamina to get a personal brand and business off the ground. It is a lot easier to devote all your time to a new business endeavor when you're 25 and single with no one to answer to but yourself. Still, 95% of people reading this book, even the young ones, probably have some kind of obligation. College loans, many are likely still at school, mortgages, child support, elderly parents, or dependent families. Most already have a job. Maybe you've got a flexible schedule because you're driving for a rideshare company or working part-time or nights. But most of you are working 9 to 5 or even 8 to 6. Your only prayer to one day live the crush it life, and therefore, is to deploy ungodly amounts of work from 7 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday, plus all day Saturdays and Sundays. So, Bobby, man, you say you might be a bit lazy, but you've got to start deploying some serious freaking hustle, man. Larry said, I'd love to set up my own online business. Not sure what, though. Well, let's throw some ideas around in a minute, Lowry. So ideally, you'll be building your business around the thing you love to do for fun and relaxation, so it won't really feel like losing your leisure time. The only additional thing you'll have time for, though, should be your family. They deserve to get the best of you, so make sure you don't let the work creep into all your time with them unless you can make them part of it, which would be wonderful. Bring them in on the adventure with you. Many people interviewed for this book have done this. Rodrigo Tasca hired his sister to help him build his video production business, and they worked out of his bedroom in their parents' house. Jared Polin and Lauren Evarts both regularly featured their grandmothers on their blogs. Rich Rolls' children and his wife Julie are a constant presence in his videos and photographs, and the couple are listed as co-authors on their first cookbook. They do a cooking business. When Brittany Xavier books a mother-daughter Mother's Day branding opportunity or photo shoot, she puts a portion of the fee in an account set up for her daughter because without a child, these opportunities wouldn't exist. She does all mother and daughter stuff. Since she turned 9, Chad Collins' daughter Jordan has run this the trivia events conducted at Brickfest Live, and that's the nationwide Lego event in America that grew out of the Lego YouTube channel that they built together. And this is what the modern day family business can look like. You can all do stuff together, basically. You have to decide how you're going to spend your time. Start by blocking off the hours you must spend on your obligations, your job, your kids and your spouse, your aging mother, etc. But if you're serious about crushing it, every minute not spent on those obligations should be spent producing content, distributing content, engaging with your community, or engaging in business development. Stephen Marinara, the salon guy, he's called on Instagram, who was a hairstylist, a DJ, a fireman, and a fugitive recovery agent before becoming YouTube's The Salon Guy, one of the largest professional hair channels on the platform, was relentless in his quest to build his brand. If you sit on your butt all day waiting for things to come, he says, nothing's going to happen. Nothing will happen at all. Once just a vlogger who might film himself demonstrating haircutting techniques, his dogged persistence led into being featured on reality TV episodes, making appearances on Good Morning America and Fox News, covering the Oscars, and becoming a fixture at New York Fashion Week events, where he interviews celebrities and designers. He went from earning a total of $20K 4 years ago, like in total, to being able to charge thousands of dollars a month to offer media services to brands. Do Things is another brand, a creator of content, and they create content daily. It's called BizDev Daily. They meet with 2 or 3 people per day who can get them awareness, distribution, or sales, and somehow closer to their goals. So Gary says, look, direct message people on Instagram with offers to collaborate. Instructions of this are on page 225 of the book, apparently. You should be taking these actions 12, 15 hours per day. If you're working another job, you should be cramming as much work as you can into the 3 or 4 hours you have to yourself per night or day if you work the night shift. And don't forget to sleep, though. 6 to 8 hours of sleep per day or night is ideal for most people. Just make every minute of your remaining 16 to 18 hours count. Do you think this kind of relentless work ethic sounds unhealthy? Does it sound like too much? Pay attention to those feelings. Self-awareness is vitally important. Crushing it is about living on your own terms, equally satisfied with your income and your life. You'll get no judgment from me if your goals are modest. I have obnoxious intention, he says, but I don't think everyone else should. Everyone else who reads this should force themselves to fit into it. But please, if you're not willing to do the grind, for God's sake, do not complain when your business doesn't grow as fast or as big as you want. Maybe you decide to spend 2 hours a week volunteering at the animal shelter or the food bank, or maybe you decide to join a cycling club, you go to the movies, you play mobile games during your flights. That's fine. It probably makes you feel better. But then accept your ambitions are humbler than you originally thought and be good with that. Not everyone should try to build a business as big as it can get. The truth is that you can't do it all, so you're going to have to make choices. Be practical. Raising your self-awareness and suffocating any self-delusion is a crucial piece of keeping you on the path to success, however you define it. Crushing it follows the laws of thermodynamics. Ultimately, whatever energy you put into something will manifest itself in equal amounts when it comes out. Sometimes that resulting energy gets harnessed to move muscles or machines. Sometimes it dissipates unused into the ether. A successful entrepreneur is one who puts in enough energy to move the gears and executes well enough so the work isn't wasted. So ultimately, yeah, he's saying, look, and I see this with a lot of people, their mouth is not congruent with their actions. So they give it all this, I'm gonna, but they actually don't put any of the work in. I think the reason that all us lot on here right now, it's nearly 10 o'clock at night, are on here on a Wednesday night is because people, are prepared to put the time in. There's going to be loads of people. Think how many actors now, or how many people who, might benefit from this are watching, The Walking Dead or whatever is cool. I don't even know what's cool on Netflix right now. I don't know. But yeah, that's what they're doing. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. They're never going to do that. And sometimes this is relentless. Sometimes I will put in. I did an 18-hour day yesterday, and I felt like I was getting nowhere. Just like sometimes you're just like, oh God, I'm constantly fighting, like I'm swimming upstream because you end up with a lot. I have a lot to do, and if I, say I have a few hours out and I don't do my tasks on a Tuesday, I end up leaving until the Wednesday. Then I've got all the Wednesday's tasks and Tuesday's tasks to do on one day. Very easy to to kind of get bogged down. You've really got to be disciplined in this. Mel says she also watches The Walking Dead. I saw the couple of first seasons, I think, of The Walking Dead, and there are like loads more now though. I'm proper missed out there. I did enjoy it. I used to love when I worked. The one thing I did like about working in retail in that computer game shop all those years ago is to get discount on computer games. I used to love a set of games called Resident Evil that were all about zombies, very much like The Walking Dead. Did enjoy that. So Lowry's saying, look, I'd love to set up my own online business, not sure what though. Right, so if you're struggling to find a passion of yours, or what you would set your business up about, I always like to look at this triad. And Wendy says, we don't know what's cool on Netflix now, we're all watching you. Thanks, Wendy. So have a look, Lowry. Ask yourself this question. Go, right, what am I passionate about? Okay, and list all of the things you're passionate about. And it could be anything from cooking to knitting to your acting to just, I don't know, motor cars, fashion, hair, anything at all. Write all those down. Then write a list of things you're good at, okay? And be, kind to yourself. You are going to be good at quite a lot of things, even though I'm not good at that. Remember what I said, you've only got to be one step ahead of the people you're teaching to be seen as an expert. So, write a list there. And then write a third list out of those things that you are good at and you are passionate about. Look for the ones that you think people would pay you to do, or pay you to show others how to do. And if you can find a topic there that matches like all three, almost like a Venn diagram. So you've got a circle here. Sorry about those on the audio experience, but imagine 3 circles in your head in a triangle shape, and where they all overlap is the sweet spot. So you've got what you're good at, what you're passionate about, and what people would pay you for. And that's generally how you would find a niche, to go into. Baron5454, all right, has joined. So yeah, you've just got to you've got to, got to have a think. But you can create, seriously, you know what, Mel? If you were super, super passionate about The Walking Dead when it was big, I swear to God, you could have created a community, maybe you still can if it's still going, a community around The Walking Dead, because stuff like that, sci-fi stuff, fantasy stuff, has an incredible die-hard mental audience of people who will buy into anything to do with that brand. You could create an unofficial group around that, and you could create all kinds of, you could create a membership site around that, some kind of online club, some kind of meetup thing. You could throw Walking Dead themed events that you invite everybody to from that group. You charge them all a tenner to get in. You can create an online business and serve people really well, giving them events and things that they love, earn money from it, and enjoy yourself. You can create an online business around anything at all. But like we said before, and what we just read you in the book there, it's about the work. It's going, am I prepared to put the work in, or do I just do this minimum wage job or whatever it is I'm doing that I'm not passionate about, and I'm building someone else's dream for them? Do I do that for the rest of my life while I'm hoping something's going to happen for me? Because it just won't, unfortunately. I played that game for 11 years. It just won't. No one comes into your work and offers you an acting job or offers you something you're passionate about, or not in my experience anyway. If anyone's heard of anything like that, bar the odd thing where you hear in Hollywood how some director decided that they would give a $25,000 tip or something and put someone in a movie, which I don't even know if it's true or there's just a load of bollocks. I've never heard of anything like that happening whatsoever. Mel says, I've got to learn to ask people to pay for stuff. Yeah, and also don't asking for people to pay for stuff is not a dirty, sleazy thing. A lot of people really get hung up on that. The reason I'm so happy to charge people, and it's worth so much more, but I charge people nearly £300 for Bulletproof Actor, the program Bulletproof Actor. Launch it just twice a year max. I'm so happy to sell that to people, because I know if I'm not trying to sell that, Mel, I'm doing people a massive, massive disservice. Like, the emails I've had already from people taking it this time, we're only on live call 2 tomorrow. I do a 5-week in-depth training, and people really sort their mindset out. Like, people are having massive progress already. I set up a meeting for someone in LA with a top acting coach a couple of days ago. She's getting hooked up with managers at the end of pilot season this time. 2 people already emailed me to go, you know what, God, you gave me a real kick up the arse. I ended up writing, these emails you've told me to write. 2 people booked agents this week. One got with Narrow Road in London. Another person, I can't remember which agent they're with, but got with an agency. Oh, Justine it was, got with Michael Ford at Hatch Talent, a great agency in London. Just 2 days after beginning the program. Like, And it's not because I'm going out and getting them the agents. I'm basically just, showing them how to view the world and view the industry and actually look at their mindset and get their heads right. Because until your head's right, you're screwed. I don't care how talented you are. If your head's not right, you ain't going to be right. Not your success ain't there, or what you'll find is your talent can take you places where your character can't keep you because your mindset isn't developed enough, and you will just, you will show, cracks will start showing when you get to a certain point. So I'm super happy to sell people this product because it's changed people's lives. Rachel took it last year. She just won an Oscar on Sunday night. I had a FaceTime call with her 2 hours ago, and she's like, God, you know what? I like so much of what you've coached me on. It basically got me that Oscar. And she'll say that on record, I'm sure. It's not me just bigging myself up. So I'm super happy to sell something. If what you're creating is valuable, then like it's this. Do you know what? I look at it like this, right? It's like a bridge, okay? So there's people here, I don't drive because of my eyes, but I'm sure, right, like a toll road or something like that, or a bridge, okay, a toll bridge. You can drive your car and you can go all the way around and spend all that extra money and extra energy and extra time going around whatever it is, the water, to get to your destination. And that could take you months, if not years. Or you can pay somebody a toll to cross their bridge. So I think the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, don't you have to pay to get over that? Because ultimately that's the thing that pays for the paint every year. Because the Golden Gate Bridge gets painted that orange colour, and by the time they get to the end of it, they've got to start again at the beginning because it's that big. I'm sure it's something like that. Maybe it's not that bridge, it's another one. But there's bridges like that are toll bridges. They cross the water, cut out loads of time, loads of effort, loads of energy, and ultimately save you money. That's what your product should be doing for people. If your products or your community can act as a bridge to save people time, money, or entertain, educate, motivate, whatever it is for you, never feel sleazy, Mel, about asking for money, because it's like, ultimately that's how the world works, And if anything, don't underprice yourself either. There's a total time and place for free content. You've got to give loads of free stuff so people trust you and like you, and it's the right thing to do anyway. I give loads of stuff for free. But, you can absolutely, create a business of super valuable stuff that you charge for. It's the only way you survive. I mean, people can't expect you to put everything out for free if they're not going to pay for anything at some point. Gary puts out a shitload of free content because he creates a business that earns lots and lots of money from his marketing business. But he'll still put books out. He'll still put T-shirts out and merchandise out, so he's still making money even though he's giving lots of free stuff away. Just a trade-off. Mel says, yeah, I've seen that documentary about the Golden Gate Bridge. Once they're done, they have to start again at the other end right away. Yeah, they do. It's so big. They literally paint it, guys. And then when they get to the end, they literally go, right, well, better start again then. So it's constantly being painted all the time. Lowry says, I'd like to do mindset coaching. Well, go all in on it, Lowry. Get as much. I studied for 10 years, not like officially in university, so I don't have any PhDs or anything remotely like doctorates or anything like that in psychology. I understand psychology so well. A, because I'm a human being and I have my own psychology. But I went all in on it, and I probably read, well over 200 books over the last 10 years. Been at so many events with people who are super, super qualified as well. Been in every mastermind group going, learned from all these people. And then you get to a point where you feel so confident. I could stand up in a room anywhere, even with doctorates, with PhD people. I'd still be able to argue my own case for why I think people behave the way that they do. And it might not be, it might not even be the approved method of psychologists or whatever. But who would you really like to learn off? Someone who's out there doing that shit, or someone in a white coat and glasses going, oh, okay, this study in 1965 that was done on these 3 monkeys suggests this happens with behavioral conditioning, etc. Nah, you want to be learning from the person who's out living, life today, and coming into contact with people today, coaching people today, experiencing things today. Stuff changes so quickly. I think a lot of degrees and stuff end up being outdated by the time you finish them. You start in year 1, and then by the time you finish in year 3, what you learn in year 1's out of date now. Late to the party, been doing improvised theatre, says Sue Swallow. All right, Sue, hope your improvised theatre went very, very well. Let us know, definitely. And if there's any time we can come and see you do improvised theatre, put it in the group. I'm sure there'll be people knocking around who'll come and support you. But yeah, still, I'm just passionate about this. Still think, Sue, maybe you could create a business around improvised theatre. still think of what, kind of hustle you would want to do on the side to take you out of that shitty job if you've got one, a 9 to 5 job that you hate, that you're using to support the career that you love. Because you ain't ever going to be able to let that career that you love flourish while you're spending time demoralized in a job that you hate, because your batteries are drained and you've got no energy to put into what you really want to do. And that can breed complacency, Bobby, as well, mate. When you said you feel a bit lazy, it might not be laziness, mate. It's just it could just be fatigue because you're spending time doing something you don't want to do. So have a look at that as well. But yeah, have a good honest think with yourself, and believe me, you can. You could come up with, if you're passionate about anything in the world, you can come up with a community around that, a business around that, and you can begin to earn money and grow a business on your own terms if you're offering people enough value around that niche that you decide to go into. So if you want to learn more, we're going to look at this for one more week next week. I'm going to read you another case study of somebody, and we'll look at something else, another thing that is crucial for succeeding. Today we looked at the work. But have a look, Gary Vaynerchuk's book, Crushing It. Big shout out to @GaryV on Twitter, on Instagram. It's been instrumental. It's been an instrumental influence in my business. And just everything that I do, really. Very, 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 very cool guy. So do check the book out. If you're watching on the replay on actsonthis.tv or on YouTube, click the link in the description. Go to actsonthis.tv, click the link underneath this video, and you can go to Amazon to buy the book. The link will already be there. And yeah, we'll be back on Monday for some motivation and mind hacks. I want to play you just a 60-second clip that didn't make it into my vlog. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, guys, please. I'm putting out content on Instagram that you don't get from my weekly vlog, Watch Ross. So I do a weekly vlog, you all know. Currently, if you subscribe to it, I'm going to pay for somebody's Spotlight subscription in April. You go to youtube.com/Watch Ross, youtube.com/Watch Ross. Please, if you get any value from what I do, go and subscribe to my vlog. Support me on this. All I ask of you. Put my heart and soul into this. It's basically a vlog behind the scenes in my career, my online business, my acting career, voiceover career, and life. Pretty funny. Some stuff's to entertain, some stuff's to motivate, some stuff's to educate. Go check it out. We talked to an entrepreneur in this episode that's just gone out on Monday about how he set up his business. Very, very successful. A guy called Craig Bramall, who started off doing fitness. We talked to him about how he set up his business. But yeah, I'm going to do a draw of one subscriber who leaves a comment on the video. You've got to leave a comment on an episode. You can leave one comment on all episodes. You can there's 20 there. Each comment you leave acts as a prize entry, a prize draw entry. I'm going to draw someone in April. You either get 150 quid cash, or I pay for your Spotlight subscription, whatever's best for you. If you're an actor, you'll want Spotlight maybe. Or if you already paid for your Spotlight, I'll give you 150 quid anyway. But that'll just come straight to your PayPal account. Go over there. But I want to play you a clip that didn't make it into this week's vlog, because I'm starting to put the clips that don't make it into the vlog out on Twitter and on Instagram. And this was a conversation I was having with an actress called Sarah at the meetup we had on Saturday. And she was saying she doesn't understand technology that well, and she gets confused easily. And I was saying, listen, confusion can be a really positive emotion to feel. And I just want you to, it's a 60-second clip, just listen to this, hope it resonates with you. Pet should probably seen a tutorial of how to do something online, or he just got creative and he sent me this video and he's like, Ross, what do you think of this? And I'm like, oh my God, mate, that's amazing. How have you done that? And then he just tells me, oh, I did this. And I'm like, right, well, I've been using this software for 8 years. Just learned something brand new there. You'll never stop learning, ever. And it's like, if we can fall in love with that learning process and realize when you're confused, this is the key. Right. When you are confused, don't get discouraged by that. When you're confused, you're actually about to learn something. So if you can fall in love with the feeling of confusion, then it's actually like, oh, right, okay, well, I'm being challenged right now. I'm feeling confused. Wait a minute, that doesn't mean I'm stupid and that I can't do anything. That actually means that I'm about to learn something. I'm going to fall in love with the process of learning. And if you can do that, you've already won before you've achieved anything.
Yeah, let's fall in love with confusion.
Fall in love with confusion. There you go. So I want everyone to fall in love with confusion. Ultimately, remember, all the bulletproofers here, those who are doing Bulletproof Actor will know one of our declarations at the start of the program is, listen, if I am confused, I'm about to learn something. I just think that's so true. So if you're setting up this online business now and you're like, I don't know how to go about it, and you're reading up on things and you're confused, just want to end on that, really. That's a great thing. You are about to learn something. Your brain is literally about to grow. So it's a nice little note to finish on. And no dancing. Steve was at that meetup. He says, "Where's my dancing?" It was too much, Steve. You'd have broken the internet if I put that out. Mel says that I'm passionate about watching films, discussing them afterwards. I'm highly opinionated. Want to have my own. You what? Commode show? Commode? What's commode? Isn't that something you sit on to go to the toilet? You want to have your own what show? Maybe or be on his. And that you don't mean that, do you, Mel? What do you mean? Being paid to voice my opinion is a dream of mine, or is commode a real thing? Maybe that's a real thing. I just never heard of it as a show. Is your brain growing? Yeah, exactly, Sue. Yeah, I'm confused, so I'm about to learn something. Mel's going to explain what my own commode show means. but yeah, what's stopping you? What's stopping you going, right, you know what? I'm going to set up an online version of that show. So I didn't think anyone was just going to give me a chat show, Mel. So I created my own, and that's on this TV. I started doing multi-camera interviews out of Media City, which I'm going to start again very soon. The place that I used to film them at has closed for quite a while for a whole revamp, rebranding, takeover. I'm going to start doing those. Mark Commode. I don't know who Commode is. That's so funny. I just called someone's second name a toilet. That's what I mean. I have no knowledge of anything this, Mel, because I don't do anything but hustle in my own business. I need to start looking at what other people are doing though a little bit more. But yeah, he's a film critic, says Mel. Right, well, oh god, it's so funny. I just sound like such a nutter. What's stopping you? Nothing stopping you doing your own commode. Your own, and I'm sure commode wouldn't have been spelled like that. Yeah, do your own Mark Commode show. And you know what? You've got access to this, your mobile phone. You could start doing, a weekly film review. Go to the cinema, watch a new film once a week. New films are out every week. Go watch one. Pull your phone out. Give a 3-minute, thing on a review of the film, what you think of it, why people should go and see it, why they shouldn't go and see it. Build a community around that. Ask other people to post their reviews once they've been to see it. Seriously, it's shit like that can just grow, man. And then suddenly, before you know it, you become an authority in that space. And then, who knows? You can absolutely, start having little guest appearances on other shows, collaborating with other people, big YouTubers, etc. And then you might end up with your own show. You've got to just try it. What's the alternative? Not to, and then you'll never know. Let's have a look. Mark, my film critic, very good. Do it, Mel. Absolutely. I used to do a weekly podcast. We'll start that again. Yeah, absolutely. Why did you stop? Boom, get on it again. Definitely. And the hustle's tough, I put out content every week. So this is going out right now live. It's going to go up on Acts on this as a replay tomorrow. It's going out on the audio experience. Maybe you listen to it on the audio experience now as well. We do the same on a Monday, same on a Wednesday. I do a Bulletproof Actor live call on a Thursday. Put content out every day that's written. I do the vlog on a Monday. I do all these micro content all the time. And it's freaking hard. It is hard. Sometimes I feel massively overwhelmed, like totally. And I'm just like, how long can I go on with this? But you've just got to, because you just don't know if that one thing, that next piece of content you put out could be the one that somebody sees where the opportunity comes, You've got to have nothing but, and it's hard, but that positivity and optimism. Without that, I think everybody's screwed. It's all about positivity and optimism. Is like everything in it, really, guys. I think that's life. I think without that, I don't think you have anything left. So go get your positivity, get optimistic, and I'll speak to you guys very, very soon. Those on Facebook, I'm sorry I can't see your comments now as I begin to line up this to end. But as always, if you do anything for you, let me know. Tweet me at @OnThisTV, at Ross A. Grants, if you want to tweet me personally. Love to know if you're listening to this on the audio experience and where you listen to it from. And if I can do anything for you, just let me know. Any time. You can always reach out and get in touch. Oh, where's this video to end? Right now, you again. This is all happening. You have to just bear with me. It's all. I can't end it. Just stay with it. There you go. We're in. So thank you. Hope it's been useful. It's Gary's book, Crushing It. Go check it out. Make sure you listen to Lewis's podcast at School of Greatness, and I will catch up with you guys very, very soon. Go subscribe to my vlog as well. Watch it. Please give me some feedback. Leave some comments. You could be the one with that 150 quid prize very, very soon. All right. Thank you. Love you all. Thank you so much. Bye for now.